What's going on, guys? Kyger here. Today we're talking about inscriptions and orders, an updated guide including all the basics that we normally talk about, as well as the updated things such as the cores and other things. So jumping in, inscriptions and orders. Inscription is the top half, which is all offensive stats, and order is the bottom half, which is all defensive stats. You increase their level as well as the bonuses they give you from the enhanced tree. Remodel lets you re-roll the stats that are on them, and dismantle is to get rid of them to give you Caballatry Essence, which is used to rank up the others, as well as protection tickets, which we will get into. Now, there's also a color coordinating thing here. This follows the same color coordinating as everything else in the game, with pink being the highest, then red, and then scaling down. So as we see here, we have 777, that's doing okay, and then once we look up here to 8, we'll have a 70% success rate. If you want to see those numbers, you can actually see it here. 0 to 1, blah blah blah, and then you see the 7 to 8, 70%, then 50, then 20. A lot of people get confused in this. The 20%, I call this the hell zone. 9 to 12 can be really tough because it's all 20%. There is no trick, it's just luck. You're eventually going to get that 20%. But once you hit 12, then you have a chance of downgrading. As you see right here, 80% core will have a lower chance. This is a new system, so they need to make some money on it, of course. No downgrading after failure. Downgrade after failure. So once you go to 13, then once you try to go to 14, if you fail the 60%, it'll go to 12. That's where the protection ticket comes in. I will show you some screenshots of that in a moment, because this account right here doesn't have any at that level. And a question I get a lot is, when should I be remodeling? I think what we just showed you right here, once you hit that hellscape of the 20s, so at 9, I think you can do a couple of remodels of ones that you want, like a stat or more better, as well as this gives you a chance to save up Caballatry Essence, so you can do several upgrades at the same time to try to get past that 20% barrier. Then the next one would be to do, where's it at? 16 is also a good spot, and then obviously at 20. So these are some main ones I think are good bottle points that you can work on a couple upgrades while you're saving up some Caballatry Essence. And then for stats that you're looking for, generally percentage based stats. This is also going to depend on your build. For the offensive ones, I really like damage increase. Damage to adventures increase for PvP. Pierce is obviously good for PvP as well. If you're a crit build, get crit damage is also very important. Down for the defensive stats, HP steal rate is definitely one I like to avoid, specifically unless you are a marksman. I like to get a little bit of HP steal rate, one stat of it, hopefully a pink, and one of the spots, just a little bit there, because they can make the best use out of HP steal rate. Then you're also looking for damage decrease, adventure damage decrease, protection rate. If you're going to deal with a flat stat, tenacity is a good one, as well as block. Block is getting a lot more beneficial due to recent changes. Now let's talk about the cores as well as the protection tickets. All right. So with the protection ticket only available at 13 or higher, and as we see right here, they made a change to this very recently, and I'll try to explain it. So you see the success rate over here, 80%. While using protection tickets, if enhancement fails, blessing plus 30, reaching 100 ensures success in the next enhancement. Now, this is kind of weird because it's plus 30 and reaching 100 ensures. So 30, 60, 90. So the 10%, so it's always going to be 120. So it's weird saying 100. Now, kind of up in the air here because even at this blessing 120, some people have reported it failing. I have not personally seen that fail, but this is a report that I have been seeing. So the team is looking at this, to my knowledge. It has been reported to them. Their response has been they're looking at it. So we will see what happens here. But once you have this at above 100, it should be a guarantee. The also question has been presented. Do you need to use protection material? Yes or no? Ideally, you should not have to use it, but I would recommend using it just in case because this has been shown to be bugged recently. Now on to the cores. Now first, how do we get these things, right? So the regular inscriptions and orders are payouts for Top League PvP or Elemental Realm PvE, with Top League being weekly and Elemental Realm being daily. The cores right here are going to be for the new PvP mode, Burning Soul, which is unfortunate because there's several issues with it, as well as it being a 2-week event with a 1-week off week. So it's a 3-week. You wait 3 weeks to get a payout, so it's tough. We'll see what happens with that, as well as on the Southeast Asia SEA servers. It was also part of their recharge event, which is spend money on packs or whatnot, and they give you bonus stuff. So we'll see if that comes to global as well, or if it'll be in other events as well. This is something that happens with all new things. They kind of gate it a bit, and then over time it becomes easier and easier to get. As we saw with the upgrade one with the protection tickets just a minute ago, it got a lot easier. Now, what's interesting here is the inscription cores and order cores kind of break the rules in several different ways. So both of them, you can upgrade them with either regular inscriptions or regular orders, but to remodel them, roll the stats, you have to use another core. Now, what's also interesting here is this you would never see on any other inscription piece, because this is the second, third, and fourth stat could be on a inscription, but HP can never be on an inscription. And you'll see that in several of these other pictures here. Let me see. Crit debuff resistance, which would be a defensive stat, break and pierce rate on inscription. Block recovery, which is defensive, so it should be here, but pierce, break, and damage increase should not. Now, inscription cores kind of break the mold on this. Unsure this is intentional or not, but you can roll literally any stat across anything on them. Now, across the 30 or so that I've seen from different screenshots and such, most of them appear to be like this, which are 3 stats of their type and 1 of the other type. So this is 3 regular inscription stats and 1 order stat. This is an outlier right here, but it's still kind of following that 3-1 structure. 1 of its stats and 3 of the rest. I've seen ones with full inscriptions. I've seen order ones with full orders, but ones that break the mold, I've generally only seen as a 3-1 ratio. So that's something to keep an eye out for, as well as you're generally looking for the same stats we talked about with the regular inscriptions and orders. Now, what can be a little tedious is if you have ones that you don't want to use, then you bring them up to level 3. Why you do that is it'll cost you 1,000 Kabbalah Essence to rank it up to 3, and you will get over 2,000 back. That's including the regular price of getting rid of one being 200. So it's 1,200 in total to make 2,100, which is a good boost, as well as you're obviously getting these protection tickets that you need at over plus 13. So that's generally how you do it. Now, another question I get a lot, this is going to be the last one, is if I get a new one just as a payout from something and it has better stats, when is too late to change it? And the answer is as late as you want. Some players have been able to do it even at plus 20, been able to say, hey, this new one is pretty good, I'm going to roll it up and then swap it. But I suggest up to plus 9, you're not really losing a whole lot, but 12 is probably the max I would go. Really 9 is that sweet spot, because that's when you enter that kind of hellscape, 9 to 12 with a bunch of 20% fail rates. So I think plus 9 is really the sweet spot of when you should, that's like the ending of when you should think about using a new inscription or order, whereas 12 is probably the highest I would go, but past that is really up to you. Let me know what you guys think. Till next time, guys.